Have you ever wanted to create a watercolor portrait that captures emotions and beauty? In this step-by-step tutorial, I will guide you through the process of painting the glowing skin tones using wet-on-wet techniques, along with adding delicate details to bring the face to life. Stick around to discover pro tips that will take your watercolor skills to the next level. If you're new here, I'm Wendy, a self-taught artist. In this channel, I share tips, techniques, and inspiration I've picked up along my journey. My goal is to help you to grow as an artist and create in your own unique way, no matter where you're starting from. So join me to learn new skills and let's grow together.
Alright, let's start by creating a light sketch. There are many ways to sketch your painting subjects, but if you're a complete beginner, I recommend tracing your portrait subject. Unlike painting flowers where you can rely on simple geometric shapes and enjoy some forgiveness, portraits demand accuracy. Even small proportion mistakes can affect your painting process later on. So don't be scared to trace the outline of the face. If you would like to try freehand sketching, use a soft pencil, at least a 2B, to avoid scratching the paper. Use basic geometric shapes to map out the facial structure, features, and proportions. Keep your lines light and clean to minimize harsh marks that might show through the paint. Before adding color, let's examine the relationship between light and shadow. In this painting, the light source is coming from the left side, while the right side remains in shadow. Use this light and dark map to guide your value choices, which will help your painting appear more 3D. Now that we have our sketch ready, let's begin with the background to frame the subject. Start by wetting the entire background, including the hair area, with clean water. I'm painting the hair and background together since they both feature darker tones. Ensure every edges is covered with a thin, even layer of water. And take your time to brush the paper gently a few times to achieve uniform absorption. For this portrait, I'm using a blend of yellow-green and darker green tones to create a glowing effect. Quickly apply the colors while the paper is still wet, allowing them to blend naturally for a smooth, seamless transition. Now let's move on to painting the skin tones. Begin by wetting the face and back areas with clean water, being careful to avoid the highlighted area on the left side of the face where the light is reflected. Next, apply a light base wash using diluted peach or pink tones. Now the paper is still damp, mix a darker skin tone with a touch of cooler color, such as purple or dark brown, and apply it to the shadow areas. Focus on places like the eye sockets, the lower chin, and the neck. Incorporating cooler tones into the shadow helps create a more natural look. In real life, shadows often appear cooler because they reflect ambient light, which is typical cooler in color, for example, the blue of the sky. Once the base layer is dry, we will shift our focus to the details. Begin with the hair, using fine strokes to mimic its texture. Leave some gaps between the strokes and gradually build up the shadows to achieve a natural look. Next, move on to the eyes. Use darker tones to add depth while leaving highlights untouched to create a realistic effect. Then define the eye contours with the darkest tones to make the eyes stand out. For the lips, layer soft red and pinks to build dimension. Be sure to avoid painting over the highlighted areas to remain a natural reflective appearance. After that, I noticed the shadow areas appeared a bit too light, so I went back to strengthen them. I focused particularly on the back and shoulder areas to enhance the overall depth and contrast. Alright, let's not forget the rose. Begin with the base wash with some pink and yellow tones for all the petals. Also use a mix of yellow and green tones for the stem and leaves. After that, while the rose is still damp, continue adding darker shades roughly where the petals overlap to define definition. Don't worry about details as long as the rose shape is done. Finally, add subtle highlights using whitewash on the edges of the rose petals and in areas that need an extra pop, such as the tip of the nose and a few strands of reflected hair. Afterward, refine the shadows on the ear around the face for a final touch-ups, ensuring the painting feels balanced and complete.
And there you have it, a beautiful watercolor portrait. By combining soft washes, careful layering, and attention to light and shadow, you can bring your subject to life just like in this painting. I hope this tutorial inspired you to explore portrait painting in watercolor and develop in your own unique style. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out my other tutorials on watercolor techniques, such as painting delicate details or creating vibrant floral elements. Thank you so much for watching. Happy painting!